a specific plan saying what they would do if they were president. I put out that plan. Yeah. And I would put out that plan and make certain that we tell the Iraqi government we cannot have our bravest young men and women standing between the 2 or 3 groups and factions in that country who are shooting each other. There is only the possibility of a political solution in Iraq. We cannot impose a military solution to the problem of a sectarian civil war. Now, that won't be easy, because those folks were talking about cutting off funding, and one of the things that Dick Durbin and I have talked about and we struggle with is making sure that if our son or daughter was in Iraq right now, if they had been deployed, and they are, for a lot of families in this audience, I would want to make sure that they've got the equipment they need, the armor they need, the Humvees they need, to make sure that they come home safely. So, we need to bring this war to an end, but we need to do it in a way where all our troops are safe, because I want every young man and woman who's over there to be able to come back safely and hug their families and say we have served our country, but our country has also served them. That is the mandate that we've got as Americans. So that's why we are here. That's what we're doing here, as Malia said. Because we know that it is now possible for us to make these fundamental changes. If we don't make them, then we have the prospect of living in a world that is a little meaner and a little poorer than the one we inherited from our parents. And that is fundamentally contrary to what this country has always been about. That is a violation of the American ideal and a violation of the American dream. And every time that we have had a challenge in this nation, whether it was eradicating slavery, or making sure that women had the right to vote, or giving unions the right to organize so they could lift people up to the middle class, or making certain that we defeated fascism, and when young people came back, we created a GI Bill to make sure that they could learn, dealing with the Depression and World War, and a situation in which I could not be standing here before you today because of Jim Crow laws and discrimination. At each and every juncture, there has been a generation of Americans who stood up and said, we're going to take back the reins of our government. We are going to make a change. And that is why we're all here tonight, to take back the reins of government and make the kind of changes that are needed to America. And that's why I'm so happy to see so many young people here today. You know, one of the wonderful things about the last several days is comments that have been made in Cedar Rapids and in Ames and even in Springfield, where some of the old political folks, you know, the old hands, the people who've been active in Iowa caucuses, the people who've been active in Illinois politics, they've said, you know, one of the things about these crowds is that they're people we haven't seen before. They're folks, I don't recognize who those people are. They're not usual caucus goers. They're not the folks who normally get involved. Who are these people? What are they doing here? And what that tells me is that there is an enormous hunger out there for people who said, you know, we've opted out of the system, we haven't believed in it, we haven't had faith in it, but maybe, just maybe, this campaign can be the vehicle for people's hopes and dreams. This cannot be about me. I am an imperfect vessel for your hopes and dreams. Woo! Was that my wife who said yes I am? That was a ventriloquist thing you were doing. I am an imperfect vessel for this process. But ultimately, every time change has come, it's not because a particular leader created all that change. What's happened is that a movement began of people who say we want to change. And a leader says, you know what, if I can walk with you, if I can march with you, if I can work with you, if I can be alongside you, I want to help. I want to roll up my sleeve. I want to make a change. I just want to be a part of creating a better America. So I need your time, and I need your energy. I need your emotion. I need your commitment. I need you to volunteer. I need you all to be a part of this process with you to create the kind of America where Malia and Sasha and your children and your grandchildren can finally say that we have created the perfect union that the founders long ago promised. It is going to happen right here and right now as long as all of you believe. God bless you, Chicago.
This way, man. Get the camera. What up, man?